Hey guys, welcome to the first video of a new series that Zomu EDU has created called Scheduling Dilemma. And basically in this video what we're going to talk about is whether you should or you shouldn't take AP Biology. And I do want to point out that whatever I say is not going to necessarily be an absolute for all schools. So keep in mind that you have to kind of adapt what I'm saying to the atmosphere of your school and what you heard about the class in your school, because I know that there are some schools that have a very, very difficult curriculum, and there are some schools that don't have a very difficult curriculum. So you have to kind of adapt it to what school you're from, and hopefully this video just goes over some general ideas about the class and what it expects of you so that you can prepare yourself going into the class and see whether or not you'd be the type of person that would enjoy a class like AP Biology. So how we're going to structure this is I have a list of 7 questions, which I'm just going to go over really quickly and answer to the best of my abilities. And hopefully it'll help you determine whether or not the class is something that you would enjoy. So the first question we have is AP Biology a hard class? Now, that's pretty much the ultimate question that's probably on all of your minds. So I'm just going to answer it straight off the bat. And, you know, I strongly believe that to answer this question, it largely depends on the type of person you are. And what I mean by that is I can speak for myself when I say that I gravitate towards classes that are more calculation based. So you take out a calculator, you memorize equations, and you do the problem. You know, something like a chemistry or physics based class. Now, biology, on the other hand, is very, very conceptual. You're going to be having a lot of reading assignments, and in those reading assignments, you're going to be thrown a lot of ideas and a lot of concepts that you kind of have to not only memorize, but you also have to explain, which is key in AP Biology, because they not only want to test whether or not you know it, but they want to test, how you can adapt your knowledge to different situations, which is key, and it's also what makes AP Biology a relatively difficult course. So what I would say is, when I took the class, that I've had friends that aced every single test, and I've had friends that flunked every test. And it does not necessarily speak to how smart they are, and the people that flunk the test are not dumb by any means. No, it's just that it was very hard for them to understand something so conceptually based, and it was hard for them to read all that content and make something of it that it couldn't really reflect onto the tests. Now, the people that did really well in the class were people that could read the content, they could really understand it right from the bat, they looked at the illustrations, they did further research, they looked at YouTube videos of the processes like cellular respiration and photosynthesis, and they really understood the material inside and out, and they were able to analytically think through what they just read in that chapter. So if you're the type of person that that gravitates towards classes that are more conceptually based, that has a lot of reading homework, and you find that to be something that you enjoy more than taking out a calculator and actually memorizing equations and just regurgitating it onto a piece of paper, then I think that AP Biology is a class that you should definitely consider. So to ultimately answer if it's a hard class or not, it really depends on the type of person you are. And I will say that if you're into conceptual thinking and if you're into a lot of reading and understanding the information that's presented to you in those chapters, then AP Biology will definitely be something that won't be too difficult for the type for a person that is attracted to that type of work. So the second question that I have is, how much homework do you get? So I know that this question really doesn't apply to all schools, but when I speak about this, I do make some generalizations, and I know that the homework basically is going to be a lot of reading assignments. So you're going to be reading a lot from the books, you're going to be reading, at times you're going to be reading 5 pages, and at times you're going to be reading 10 pages. So it ranges, but it's really, really reading based, and you have to take those reading assignments, and you have to kind of quickly understand the concepts that are being presented to you, so you can perform what you learned in class the next day. So the homework is basically reading assignments, and not a lot of calculation assignments. There may be a couple. In AP Biology, you do go over a unit called water potential, where you you do some calculations with equations. Also, when you go into genetics and you do Punnett squares and all that type of stuff, you will do a lot of pen to paper things, but ultimately throughout the course you do have to read a lot and you have to understand what you're reading, and you also have to watch videos and look at illustrations to understand the processes. But you could be looking at anywhere from a range of 30 minutes of homework to an hour of homework. Now, I have had friends that took 2 hours to do the homework, and I've had friends that took 15 minutes to do the homework. So it largely depends, once again, on the type of person you are, but I think a normal range of how much homework you'll get is about half an hour to an hour's worth. So the third question we have is, how hard are the tests? Now, once again, I can only speak for my school, and the tests were insanely hard. Like when I went to the AP test, I felt like I was very well prepared because the tests that I was taking in school were significantly harder than the test that was presented to me in May. So for my school, it was incredibly, it was like if the AP tests were here, the test that the school gave us was, one bar higher. So it really did over prepare us. Now, I know that maybe some schools just, some schools might just take AP questions on those specific chapters. So, like if you're learning cellular respiration, basically what they'll do is they go on a bunch of AP tests and they take cellular respiration based questions and they make it like a mock AP test for that chapter. And that's that's very good preparation for the AP test in May. Some classes just test your conceptual thinking, but ultimately I would say that the tests are on a medium level, from easy to hard. I think it might be a medium high. It'll definitely challenge your thinking, but I think that even though it may be hard when you're taking the class and it's hard to do well and get those A's and maintain that GPA, I think that when you take the AP test in May, you're going to really be thankful for the preparation that you were given in those tests. So question number 4, I believe, is how are the AP tests like? So I took the AP test my sophomore year. I took AP Biology my sophomore year, and that was 2016. I took the AP test, and I will say that there are two forms. One form was, I heard from a lot of people, significantly harder than the other form. So when you're doing AP Biology, you're going to be learning a lot of molecular-based biology. So you're going to be learning how cells work and things like that. But the test that the test that some people got was ecology based. So ecosystems and the basically like phylogenetic trees and all those type of stuff. So it's more of that species based biology test, and a lot of people were not prepared for that conceptual thinking because we didn't really cover that much in AP Biology. So it was very different. There was a easier test and a harder test, which was not necessarily fair. I don't know how they curved it, but I do know that a lot of people were very, very mad. And the AP test generally, it takes the concepts that you understand and it applies it into different scenarios. Like they may give you a lab and they may ask you, why did this result occur in the lab, or why did this not occur, and all those different type of things where you have to explain it with some concepts that you learned in AP Biology. So ultimately, the AP test is harder. It's on the harder end of AP tests. There is I believe only about 5 or 6% of the students that take it get a 5. I'm not necessarily sure about the passing rate, but it is one of the harder AP tests that are given in the science department. So let's move on to another question. So what does it prepare you for? What does the class prepare you for? So this is a great class if you're thinking of going into, obviously, the science field, the STEM field, specifically if you want to be a researcher, if you want to go into forensics, Also, it's very, very, very beneficial if you want to go into the medical field, if you want to be a doctor, a physician, and all that, and that type of profession. So, it is a very good course that will prepare you when you go to college. If you're going pre-med or if you're taking a science major, it will definitely prepare you. And it'll give you those strong foundations to automatically understand what's being taught to you, and it gives you a kind of head start to the material that you're going to get in college. But if you're more into, I guess, if you're not really into the sciences or anything, it's still a very enjoyable course. You're still going to learn a lot about life and the processes that go on inside our bodies. So it's still a very enjoyable course, regardless if you want to go into science and the med field or if you don't. But it will definitely help a lot of people that want to go into the science field and they want to go into the medical field. And I believe the last question I have is what comes after AP Biology? Now, AP Biology really, it sounds kind of false in a way, but it really prepares you for AP Chemistry. Now, a lot of people take AP Biology and AP Chemistry in 1 year, which, I don't know why you would do that. It's incredibly hard, but if you're up to the challenge, then go ahead, by all means, do it. But, you know, I know that when I took AP Biology my sophomore year and when I took AP Chemistry my junior year, some of the concepts that were being taught in chemistry, I already found out about in biology. So I think we started off biology with thermodynamics, where we talked about the three laws of thermodynamics. And when we went over thermodynamics in chemistry, I already knew what the laws were, and I already understood some examples of why certain phenomenons occur in chemistry because of what I learned in my biology class. So there are some concepts that are very, very similar in biology, that are taught in biology, that will help you in chemistry. Okay, so concentration potentials, how generally cells act when there's differences in concentrations, and all that different, all those different concepts that are very chemistry based. You also learn in biology. You also get like you don't learn in depth understanding of those concepts, but you do get a little graze of those concepts in AP Biology. So it definitely does help you out when you take AP Chemistry. And also, after taking AP Biology, you can definitely take the SAT-2, or the SAT subject test for biology. So biology, the SAT-2 subject test for biology, they give molecular and ecology, two tests. If you take AP Biology, you're probably going to take molecular because that's what we spent the majority of the year studying. And ecology maybe took up like a month and a half or something like that. So you would probably be more prepared for the molecular section of the biology exam for the subject test. But that doesn't mean that you can't take ecology by any means. If you feel like you're stronger in that, then do take it. But AP Biology definitely prepares you for the subject test that you can take. If you want to go into engineering, I know you have to take one math subject test and a science subject test, so you can knock it out of the park right after you take AP Biology. And also, if you just want to go into a science major and you want to take a subject test to show that, hey, this is my understanding of this class that I took, then also AP Biology would be a great foundation, and actually it will over prepare you for what you're going to learn, and what's going to be shown on the SAT subject test. So you should definitely consider taking the subject test after you take AP Biology. So those are all the questions that I got, and these are all the questions that a lot of high schoolers asked me, and I got in the comment sections on previous videos. And I really thank you guys for tuning into this video. If you do have any questions that I did not answer, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And also, please leave a like, and please subscribe to our channel, because we really want to give more material, and we really want to give more content, and your support would be greatly appreciated. I hope this video was informative, and I thank you for watching. Thank you.